12 serious side effects of tomatoes. Scientifically called Solanum lycopersicum, the tomato belongs to the nightshade family of Solanaceae. Tomatoes originated in the Central and South Americas. In Mexico, they were first used in food, and eventually spread throughout the world. Today, the tomato is consumed in a variety of ways, raw, cooked, and as an ingredient in numerous dishes, sauces, drinks, and salads. Though they are usually safe for consumption, they can cause complications in some people. Some of the issues tomatoes can cause include acid reflux, effects of intolerance, muscle aches, etc. Another major factor contributing to this dark side of tomatoes is lycopene, the very compound that, quite surprisingly, is responsible for its benefits as well. Lycopene is safe in most cases. But lycopene supplements may not be safe during pregnancy. Lycopene can also aggravate the symptoms of prostate cancer. Lycopene must be used cautiously in patients who have stomach ulcers and other stomach issues. The compound can also cause low blood pressure. Individuals on blood pressure-lowering medication must stay away from lycopene. Lycopene can also increase the risk of bleeding and must be avoided by people with bleeding disorders. Other side effects related to lycopene intake are chest pain, accumulation of fat under the skin, indigestion, and worsened hot flashes. Lycopene was also found to interact with certain cancer chemotherapy agents. Hence, individuals on cancer treatment must exercise caution. And now, for the side effects, in detail. 1. Acid reflux, heartburn. Tomatoes are highly acidic, which makes them likely to cause heartburn. Tomatoes are packed with malic and citric acids and can make the stomach produce excessive gastric acid, which is responsible for food breakdown. When the volume of the acid increases, it is forced to flow up the esophagus, causing the symptoms. In fact, even cooking tomatoes may not be of much help. Tomatoes and tomato sauce are also listed as a couple of foods that can trigger a reflux. Tomatoes can also worsen the symptoms of GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. According to the University of Maryland Medical Center, it is best to avoid acidic foods like tomatoes to avoid acid reflux symptoms. 2. Allergies and infections. Symptoms of a tomato allergy most often occur immediately after the fruit is consumed. These include hives, skin rashes, eczema, coughing, sneezing, an itching sensation in the throat, and swelling of the face, mouth, and tongue. According to a Polish study, tomatoes contain a compound called histamine that can cause certain allergic reactions. Tomatoes can also cause allergic contact dermatitis, where your skin becomes severely itchy and swollen after touching the fruit. Tomatoes can also lead to itchy lips. Another allergic reaction to do with tomatoes is a red patch around the eyebrows and eyelids. 3. Kidney problems. According to a report published by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, individuals with advanced chronic kidney disease must limit their intake of potassium, a mineral tomatoes are rich in. People with severe kidney issues must also limit the intake of tomatoes as they contain a lot of water. High potassium levels in the blood, which is one of the causes of kidney disease, could be dealt with by avoiding tomatoes or tomato sauce or anything made of tomatoes. Tomato sauce is also high in oxalate, which is another reason susceptible individuals must steer clear of it. 4. Irritable bowel syndrome. Tomatoes, given their irritating skins and seeds, can be one reason for irritable bowel syndrome. And if you are already suffering from IBS, tomatoes can also trigger bloating. Tomatoes are also one of the most common food allergens that can cause intestinal problems. 5. Diarrhea. Diarrhea can occur in individuals suffering from tomato intolerance. As per a report published by Longwood University, tomatoes are greasy and acidic and must be avoided during diarrhea. And according to another report by the University of Minnesota, tomatoes can be a source of an organism called Salmonella that causes diarrhea. 6. Excessive sodium. Ensure you choose lower sodium versions of tomato sauce as most sauces have a high sodium content. Even tomato soup can have too much of sodium. Just 1 cup of the soup can contain anywhere between 700 to 1,260 milligrams of sodium. Canned tomatoes can contain 220 milligrams of sodium for every half cup. 7. Lycopenodermia. We know tomatoes are excellent sources of lycopene. This can also be a bane. Excessive intake of lycopene can cause lycopenodermia, which is the deep orange coloration of the skin. This may not be a health threat, but is surely not very attractive to look at. Lycopenodermia can also occur with excessive consumption of lycopene supplements. But worry not, the condition is reversible. 8. Urinary problems. Acidic foods like tomatoes can irritate the bladder and result in urinary incontinence. Tomatoes can also cause bladder symptoms, and in certain cases, cystitis, burning sensation in the bladder. 9. Body aches. When the immune system in the body reacts to the proteins in tomatoes, a compound called histamine, we already spoke about it, is released into the tissues. This compound can cause swelling and joint pains. Tomatoes also contain an alkaloid called solanine, which builds up calcium in the tissues and causes inflammation. Eating tomatoes can also increase the uric acid levels, and this can lead to gout. Tomatoes can also trigger arthritis conditions in some people, causing pain. 10. Respiratory problems. People allergic to tomatoes can have difficulty in breathing. We can also accuse tomatoes of being conducive to mold development, and molds, according to the United States Department of Agriculture, can cause allergies and respiratory problems. 11. Migraine. Tomatoes are known to trigger migraines. According to experts, one can prevent migraines 40% of the time just by simply making some dietary changes. As per an Iranian study, tomato is a powerful trigger of migraine headache. 12. Acute gastrointestinal upset. Since tomatoes are highly acidic, they can cause acute stomach upset if you are already suffering from acid reflux or heartburn. Tomatoes can also make the stomach produce more acid, which can cause acute gastrointestinal upset. These side effects simply tell us that we must be careful and not consume tomatoes in excess. But that's not all, there is another set of people that, in this aspect, must practice caution more than anybody else. If you are interested in more information, we recommend you visit our website, where you can find a series of ebooks that you can download for free. You just have to click on the link in the description.